All right, hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Mike Lindsley, back with you here from Rosie's Corner in Brewerton. If you are in and around the central New York area, this place is a must-stop. They've got pizza, wings, pasta, you name it. I'm about to get some chicken parb subs to go, salads in the cooler, and they're going to start up their Taco Tuesdays here in the not-too-distant future, so be on the lookout for that. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and oh, by the way, catch them at Wingfest. That's right. They're going to be joining the gang with Shifty's Big Awesome Barbecue, Limp Lizard, Jake's Grub and Grog. I voted on this contest last year. I was a judge. It's spectacular. The Inner Harbor Wingfest 2019. It's May 17th and 18th. Inner Harbor, Syracuse, presented by Empower Federal Credit Union. And you can log on to innerharborwingfest.com. Make sure you go try all these great wings. And my friends at Rosie's will be there as well. And of course, Rosie's always has gift cards available, and you can find them on Grubhub as well. I wanted to spend 9 minutes with Mike Lindsley here on Facebook, IGTV, and YouTube talking about the shift. It seems like every single baseball podcast, every single person I run into at the ballpark with the Syracuse Mets, every single article that I might read, whether it's on ESPN.com, MLB, The Athletic, not every single one, but most, it takes just a little bit of time until people start bringing up the shift and bitching and whining about the shift. Now, look, what I like to see players at their respective positions, what I like to see the first baseman stand traditionally by the bag, same with second, same with shortstop, same with third, same with left, center, and right fields. Yeah, I guess so. But think of it like this, folks. The reason why a lot of baseball teams shift is because they're making you do something. They are forcing you into a spot that you don't want to be in. That is not unlike anything that goes on in professional sports or in total team sports at any level as it is. Think about the basketball equivalent. If you look at defense, sure, you can play man-to-man, but you can play press and force a team to, make turnovers, force a team to get out of their ways. You can play a 2-3 zone, a 3-2 zone, a 2-2-1. You can play a box and one. You can play a bunch of different defenses. None of those that I just mentioned are traditional man-to-man when the game started years and years ago when Naismith put the ball through that little peach basket. Give me a break right now. This is the shift and people whining about it. It is becoming exhausting. Now, it doesn't look great on the baseball field, but you know how you fix that? You know how you change it? You know how you force people to not shift? Hit the ball the other way. Lay down a bunt up the third baseline. Figure something out to make people not shift. Because, folks, if you think about it, with all the binders, the sabermetrics, the general managers, and all the nerds in these front offices, when you look at it, that's all they look at. They look at the big picture and they're like, okay, well, this guy hits to the right side of the field 89% of the time against lefties. We're going to put the shortstop over. We're going to put the third baseman over. We're going to put the second baseman over. And we're going to back the first baseman up a little bit and move him over maybe 1 foot. Okay, well, there you go. You have it covered. If he's going to ground the ball into the shift, it's an obvious easy out. You've closed all the gaps from him, for him to be able to get through. It's very, very simple. Just hit the ball the other way. It's similar to if you're countering it in basketball and you're an offensive team going up against a 2-3 zone that maybe you don't see a lot, that you haven't scouted against, that you haven't seen a lot of on tape. Well, guess what? Penetrate, kick, and get open three-point shots. You start to hit the three-point shots, maybe that team comes out of the 2-3 zone. Syracuse won't, but maybe a lot of other teams will go out of the 2-3 zone. Although Syracuse, if they are getting bombed with threes and they're down, they might press like they did against Virginia in the NCAA tournament, change up the defense that way, and come back and win. The point is, folks, sports, they're all about adjustments, right? I mean, look at the NFL. Look at the way it used to be back in the 40s, 50s, 60s when the ground game controlled football, when it controlled the entire game. People that had the most time of possession was the team that won. Now, that's not necessarily the case. It's a gunning and slinging type of era. We are all offensive. Quarterbacks and receivers are putting up incredible numbers. There's never been more possessions, more points, more this, more that. How do you counter that? Well, you counter it with different blitz packages. You counter it with drafting interior pressure in the NFL draft. You counter it with different things to try and slow down the opposition. Look at what happened in the Super Bowl. The Patriots and Rams played a low-scoring game. It was one of the more low-scoring games between two great teams in the NFL this season, and that was, abnormal. Well, people adjusted. Defenses adjusted. They went at things a different way. Same thing goes in basketball. Same thing goes in hockey. Remember when the New Jersey Devils were using the trap system throughout the 1990s, especially in the mid-90s with the likes of Scott Niedermayer and Scott Stevens and Martin Brodeur in goal. Well, how could you beat that trap system? Plus, you had a two-line pass. Well, you had to have a guy who could carry the puck through the ice, carry it up the ice, and then dump in, and then work the forechecking. If you didn't have a major moving defenseman or two, or sometimes three, or even a forward who could kind of get through the middle of the ice, you might have been screwed because your pass long distance would have been caught up in the trap, and it might have been caught up in the two-line pass. Now there aren't traps. Now there aren't two-line passes. It's a different game, a little bit more wide open, not quite like the 1980s, but you get my point. There were teams like the Detroit Red Wings. There were teams like the Philadelphia Flyers. There were teams like the New York Rangers that had to go up against that trap and try to figure out ways to beat it. It was just about adjusting to it. Remember, the New Jersey Devils won the Stanley Cup in 1995, but all those other years up until 2000, 2001, and all the rest, when they started to win it again, all those other years, people started to kind of try to counter the trap with different offensive innovations, moving the defenseman up, maybe taking a defenseman and then passing the puck across and sending it up the boards that way. There were different ways to get the puck into the zone across the trap. All I'm saying with the shift is, look, it's not pretty, it doesn't look great on the field, but the flat-out fact is you can counter the shift. You can adjust against the shift. Hit the ball the other way. Hit the ball up the third baseline. Drop a bunt down. These are the best players in the world, and I understand bunting isn't in, stealing bases isn't in because of the sabermetric world. You've got to walk, strike out, or hit a home run these days. I get that, but the flat-out reality is these are professional ball players who should still be able to lay down a bunt going the other way. It's just going to be a matter of fact here of managers and general managers and the nerds all collectively probably deciding, hey, let's go with a little bit more of a small ball here to counter the shift. Whether you shift or not against the other team, they may be shifting against you. And how do you counter that? Very simple. You hit it the ball the other way, because look, these guys who are pull hitters, they're not always going to be able to hit the ball over the shift and the gaps. They're not always going to be able to hit the ball over the first baseline, down the line perfectly placed. They're not always going to be able to hit it over the shift and out of the ballpark for a home run. A lot of times it is going to go right into the shift because all of those gaps are closed. Well, counter it. Hit it the other way. Adjust, just like all the other sports. Adjust to defenses the way they're made in soccer. Adjust to hockey. Adjust to basketball. Adjust to football. The same should be said for baseball. If you're getting shifted against, adjust it against it and hit the ball the other way. Make sure you get here to Rosie's Corner, the official pizza shop of the ML Sports Platter, just off of the Bartell Road exit on Route 11 in front of the Brewerton Bridge. And make sure you check them out here at Wingfest. That's coming up fast and furious, May 17th and 18th at the Inner Harbor in Syracuse, New York. It is all presented by Empower Federal Credit Union, and you can visit innerharborwingfest.com. That's innerharborwingfest.com. And in the meantime, check out Rosie's on Grubhub, like their Facebook page, follow them on Instagram as well. Rosie's is the place to be. Pizza, wings, hot and cold subs. I'm about to go grab my chicken parm sub right now. Salads galore, awesome drinks in the cooler, and desserts to go as well. Rosie's Corner. Get here. Jason, Jody, and the gang doing a fabulous job. Thanks for watching 9 Minutes with me, Mike Lindsley, on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Make sure you hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports and download my podcast, the ML Sports Platter, wherever podcasts are available. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.